Hi there, for today's video we are going to be reviewing Watchmojo's Honkai Star Rail tier list. And let me just say, as future me here, they made some pretty interesting takes here. Not really good takes, but just interesting is all I'm gonna say. Stick around to the end to find out what they did. Anyways, if you like this, be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what I should do next, and I will see you in the next one. Let's begin. Yo, I am going to be reviewing this now, so I hope you enjoy. I'm gonna pause in between parts I need to, or just cut out stuff that doesn't need to be said and whatnot.
Whatever. Let's get this over with. The Antimatter Legion? Interesting.
Welcome to Watchmojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the units at the very top of the current meta in Honkai Star Rail.
I just wanted to say real quick, I already watched this. I already watched on react to this, but I'm just going through this again just to see where they play stuff to see that I can do better and whatnot. So I already know partially what's to be expected, unfortunately.
Number 10, Kafka.
Okay. So, Kafka is not terrible, don't get me wrong. Kafka's, not bad, but the bad part is that, she's not exactly, good in, certain situations. In Simuni, she's good, but, for example, in, Forgotten Hall, Memory of Chaos, she's not exactly as viable anymore if you don't build her with, the best stuff and whatnot. And even, lots of people started to admit, oh, Kafka unfortunately sucks now. Hopefully Black Swan will make her better, though. That's exactly why I'm saving for Black Swan.
Anyone who says lightning never strikes the same place twice has clearly never met Kafka. While her damage output looks underwhelming at first, the initial hit is only part of the story. You see, Kafka is the queen of the long game. Most of her skills apply the game-changing shock debuff, causing electrifying amounts of damage over time. Once you land a hit, all you have to do is sit back, relax, and watch as enemies fry around her. It's a
So not only did... Wait, hold on, I can't say that yet.
sight to behold. In fact, Kafka's consistent access to status effects makes her one of the most reliable damage dealers in the whole cast. Shocking, isn't it? Number 9.
Okay, so they just... Oh, dude. So, they just completely forgot to, mention the fact that Kafka is able to proc DOTs, which means that she's able to, activate DOTs early and increase her own damage. Say, for example, Sampo, guard breaks uses ult. Those wind shears that are on the enemy are gonna activate if Kafka uses her skill or her ultimate. If, the enemy is the one that's in the middle of the blast, or just in the hit of the ultimate, or not protected by a shield. Already off to, a terrible start with forgetting the main, gimmick of her, which is very bad.
Fu Xuan.
As clear as daylight.
There's one very good reason to always keep Fu Xuan on your team. To put it simply, this girl does not die. Thanks to her litany of regenerative abilities, she can keep herself on the battlefield through just about any attack.
Look at
and
that
even
health,
better,
dude.
She can do the same with her team. Fu Xuan's unique skill allows her to partly shield her allies' damage intake for 3 turns. Pair that with her insane healing, and Fu Xuan's party becomes nigh unkillable. Oh, and did we mention Fu Xuan's skill also boosts her teammates' critical rate? Clearly.
Yeah, real quick, you see how they're in Swarm Disaster? That damage... I just wanted to, make a quick disclaimer before you go and pull in for DPS. That 7.1 million damage is not, true Fu Xuan damage. They just have a really good Simuni build. But that 11k HP is possible, I'm 99% sure. I saw someone do that before.
She doesn't just support your lineup. She's the reason it's effective at all.
The cycles of yin and yang never cease.
Number 8, Seele.
Got a lot of nerve.
In comparison to flashy skills, debuff mechanics, and situational ultimates, Seele is pretty straightforward. She simply does damage, and a lot of it. However, in a game like Honkai Star Rail, that alone wouldn't be enough to make her stand out, especially since she's limited to single targets. But that's where Sela's uber-powerful talent Resurgence comes into play. Whenever she eliminates an enemy, Resurgence buffs her attack and lets her act again. Essentially, she has the attack stat of a single target master, but the versatility to plow through hordes at the same time. So,
not only is his Zealous damage underwhelming, but he also, like, forgot to mention that just, like, Resurgence isn't really that, like, big of a thing anymore. There's, like, lots of, like, AoE characters dropping now and whatnot that just completely make Resurgence, like, not necessary. Resurgence was a big thing back then because characters like Yang, Chen, and, like, Shiying didn't have, like, stuff like that as hunt characters, but, like, even though Zealous is, like, usable now, she's just, like, not as good. Don't get me wrong, I use her in, like, Memory of Chaos and whatnot. I even beat, like, Novice Ostricher with her, but just, like, don't use her. There's just, like, much better options out there. Like, Black Swan's releasing, you could use her.
So, whether you're chipping away at a boss or grinding through grunts, Sela always deserves a spot on your team.
Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Legions of the past!
Number 7. Blade.
My sword will be the last thing you see.
Given his name, it's only fitting Blade is the epitome of a glass cannon. He's got some of the best wind skills in the whole game, but they come at—
Stop. Blade is not a glass cannon if you build him correctly. Wait, hold on, let me see how they built him, actually.
at a high cost, namely his health bar. While trading damage for damage sounds risky, it's circumvented by the fact that Blade doesn't start fights.
What the hell is that HP, dude? Dude. It's not even like that they're level 40. Like, that doesn't even matter. Like, when I'm pretty sure my level 40 Bailu had like much higher HP than him, dude. Oh my god, dude. It's just not good. It's not good. It's not looking good.
Ends them. But, as an extra precaution, his ultimate has a built-in failsafe too. The ironically titled Death Sentence always restores Blade to half health, whether he's above or below the threshold. Then, it takes all the damage he's taken in the whole match and converts it into one explosive finishing blow. With that kind of—
I'm pretty sure that's just not how he works. Wait, hold on one second. Let me check, like, Pridwin to make sure, so I'm not talking out my ass or something. So I checked Pridwin again, just, like, to make sure my gain's a little low. I checked Pridwin again to make sure, but, like, it turns out that that might actually be how he works. I haven't really used Blade that much, so I'm not really sure. But they might be onto something here. Who knows?
firepower, who needs health anyways? Number 6, Ting Yun.
Why is she so good?
You get a buff, and you get a buff, you get a buff, and you get a buff. That's right, Ting Yun is all about those nice, powerful attack boosts. She's basically a walking, talking battery pack for your team, and with the right synergy, she can help even low-level heroes clear the battlefield. What's more, Ting Yun has one of the most useful ultimates in the game, in that it helps others to get their ultimates. And yes, Ting Yun's damage modifiers apply there too. It doesn't take a mathematician to see that attack buffs plus frequent ultimates equal a must-have for your team.
Okay,
After all,
like,
if you plan it right, Ting Yun can be the buffer that keeps on buffing.
So the funny thing they forgot to mention, which is like a supposed thing with Ting Yun— oh, I Silver Wolf there. So the funny thing about Ting Yun, right? She is very good in like certain situations. Like, I kind of replaced like Bronya with Ting Yun, like when I was in early game with Zila, because I didn't really like how Bronya's kit worked. But, just, like, you need the right team to use Ting Yun with. If you use, like, Jingliu with Ting Yun and whatnot, then you're gonna have, like, good energy regen. Like, Ting Yun, Huohuo, Jingliu, then you're just gonna have, like, a lot of energy regen for your team and whatnot. That's just, like... that's at least what I think.
Number 5, Silver Wolf.
I can do this in my sleep.
Nothing howls quite as loud as good old-fashioned debuff. Entering Silver Wolf. She specializes in reducing all of an enemy's stats, and we do mean all of them. Defense, speed, attack, you name it, Silver Wolf can do it. But that's—
I'm pretty sure the only stats that she could decrease are attack speed, speed in general, defense, and, attack? Wait, hold on, I need to, like, check that one more time. I might just be, losing it. So I got some very bad news. I realized that after going through the rest of the tier list that, the files got a little bit dark, and I'm not exactly able to see parts of the video. But anyways, basically what they did in the video was they put Jing Liu below Imbibe de Lune, and they put Locha way above Fu Xuan. Like, I mean, way higher than she should be. Way higher than he should be. Because Locha should not be higher than Jing Liu. That's just, like, not how he works. But anyways, we are going to move on to making my own tier list. As of the time of making this video, I will obviously mark this tier list as outdated if I need to. Because 2.0 is going to release soon, and if I make this and people think that this is still a viable tier list, then I'm going to be seen as misleading, and that will cause issues. So let's begin. Welcome back. So we are now in this tier list right here. It shows like even some of the unreleased characters like down here, so we're just going to bam. So one thing I don't like that people do is that some people just like absolutely glaze and meat ride some of the characters that have not even released yet. So let's just begin. I guess we're gonna have to start with Asta real quick. Honestly, it's here. Asta is very good in like certain situations, and that's mainly because of like how she gets her attack boost for the team. She's really good for like boosting speed, but she's not a good like damage booster in general, so that's why I'm putting her there. My opinion on Herta has changed a lot, so B tier, and I'm gonna tell you why. Pure Fiction have released, and Herta has had a massive like overhaul when it comes to like meta. So Herta is a lot better to use now because Herta is specialized in follow-up attacks like Himiko, and if you use those two together, then they're going to be very good. Now Bronya S tier, I don't even have to say why. Gives you a free turn if you have enough skill points to pull off a good attack. And she boosts your crit damage, your attack, and boosts your speed a little bit too, so pretty good. Zila S tier. She is not the best DPS, but she is still a good DPS. Serval goes in C tier. And that is because Serval is good in Pure Fiction as well, but she's not as good as some of the other characters. Shepard is a pretty good unit. He's just like not exactly used by a lot of the endgame players because most endgame players have like a sustainer or a better healer. Yeah, unfortunately Natasha's gonna have to go in D tier because Natasha's not really used that much anymore because there's just much better options like Ho-Ho, Lynx, maybe even Meiling as well. Halo's going in S tier, and I think you know exactly why for you endgame players that are watching this. Halo is very good when it comes to decreasing like an enemy's ice resistance and defense. She is a better Silk Wolf when it comes to decreasing defense, and she is a good damage booster for Jing Liu. I personally have not used Clara enough to give her a proper ranking, so she might not be that terrible, but I'm just gonna go based on what I've seen. Clara seems to be a very RNG based character, so that's like not really good. Like, I'm gonna just like keep it 100%. A RNG based character is not a character that you should be maining in the main game. It's just not. We're going to put good old Sample here in A tier because he is very good when actually I'll put him in B tier first. He is very good when it comes to working with Kafka, so we're gonna put him there. In D tier, he is alright. Well, that honestly, because I used her in the beginning. She was honestly not that terrible. She got me through a lot of the stuff. She got me through a lot of tough stuff. I'll be honest. Locha going in S tier. Locha's amazing. Jing Yifan, I'm gonna put in A tier above these guys because Jing Yifan's just like not really that good, but he works sometimes. He works in his certain situations. B tier because I don't really see many good things about him, honestly. I'm gonna go ahead and slap Bailu and C tier right here because Bailu, let's see here. Bailu is good. Like, the regen move is very good for early game, but sustainers nowadays don't really need to rely on a regen, because if you build the sustainer and your team correctly, then you shouldn't need to revive from a mistake. S tier. And you might be wondering why I'm putting why I'm putting some of the damage boosters above like the damage dealers and whatnot in certain situations. And that is specifically because the damage boosters actually are going to be lasting a lot longer than your damage dealers, because damage dealers get power crept very easily. Ruan Mei just released and she crept a lot of characters in terms of power, so because she just released, she's going to be power creeping some characters. Doesn't mean that they're going to be out of meta though, which is very cool when it comes to damage boosters. Shiying, I really haven't used her enough either, so I can't really say anything. This is going to be like a battle area, I guess. IRMC, we're going to put good old Stel in A tier, because she's a very good staller for the team. Let's put her there. Now I'm going to tell you why. Yukong's okay. In certain situations, she'll get you through some tough stuff, but other than that, it really just depends on the characters that you're using. I would recommend using her with an imaginary team and whatnot, but that's just me personally. Maybe she has different team comps that you can use. She's a very confusing character, personally. Put her there because she's very okay early game. But Dan Hong, on the other hand, best DPS to start off with before you get a DPS from like the 5-star like the standard banner or like a promo unit. I told my friends and whatnot to use him early game. They did. I didn't really hear any bad feedback. Now Himiko goes right above Herta because she is the better version of Herta. She utilizes weakness break while Herta utilizes half HP. And personally, utilizing weakness break is just a lot better, honestly. Oh boy. One of my favorite characters, Welt is a very strange character because of the situations that he's in sometimes. For that, I'm gonna put him. You know what? I'll honestly put him in S because while he isn't exactly usable in like Memory of Chaos or Pure Fiction stuff like that, in what's it called? Welt is very good in Simuni. I actually did like millions of damage with him in the Planar Infinite event. Kafka, S tier, still a good DPS, and I think I'm gonna switch her because I think that's a pretty good spot for her. And we're going to put Silverwolf below Pela right here because Silverwolf is a slightly worse Pela, and she's just not as good at defense reducing compared to Pela, to be honest. Her Eidolons are a lot easier to get than Silverwolves, and it hits more enemies, so for DPS like Jing Liu here, I'm just going to go ahead and slap her into S tier right here. And for damage boost, for like big damage dealing units like Jing Liu, it is much better to have an AoE defense decrease compared to a single target damage decrease. I did not use him enough, so we're not going to put him. Blade. I saw very good things about Blade, but mine Blade is just not good, so I'll put him below Kafka for now. Luca, I'll put him below Jing Yuan because he's very decent. He's not really good, honestly. I don't really find him to be a very good character. I don't really use him myself, but I could be wrong. It's also just because I don't use him. In fact, I'm probably just gonna put him here because I just haven't used him. I literally nay. We're going to make the right decision here and put him right below Jing Liu because that is where he fucking should be. Fu Xuan, honestly, Fu Xuan's the best unit in the game. Takes damage that some units take, and she puts it on herself. And if you have a good build where she has a lot of HP and defense, that's not really gonna do anything with her. Lynx, S tier. Lynx is a better version of Bailu and Natasha combined. So you are really gonna want to get her. She's a very good unit in the beginning if you don't have a Bailu, and if you don't have a Bailu, then Yifan, going straight above Sampo in A tier, because she is a decent... Actually, wait, no, that's not A tier. That right there. I don't know where to put her. I'll just figure it out myself in a second. Yeah, I guess I'd say it's a pretty good spot. The funny thing about Gwen Yifan is that she's a very, like, interesting ability character. She not only, increases how much damage enemies take, but she also can help Kafka out with that because she also applies DOTs as well, which is very good. I have not used her enough. But I have heard good things about her, though. I've seen, like, very good things. Topaz, she is very good. She's a very good, like, example of what hunt characters are starting to become. Like Dr. Ratio down here, I'll get to him in a second, even though he's not released. The funny thing about Topaz and Numby is that she's really not a DPS character. She's more of a debuff character, honestly. The way that she works is that she feeds off of other people's, follow-up attacks and whatnot. So, whenever Numby acts, that, the time in which Numby is about to act is determined based on the follow-up attacks and whatnot. Good old Argenti. And I am going to put him probably... I'll put him above the Vibrator. Because, the thing about Argenti is that if you have a full AoE area, he is phenomenal. But if you have, blast or single target, he's not as good. The funny thing about Argenti is that he is the first character to not only regen based on how much damage he does, or like how much enemies he hits, but he's also the first, unit to have 2 ultimate bars, which is very huge. Because if you fill both ultimate bars and you use his double ultimate, it does a lot of damage. Above, Yukong and A tier because she's not a very good damage boosting unit, but for people like Ember Lune that depend on skill points, really good unit. I'm gonna put her probably right here. Because I use Woho myself, she's a better version of Wosha because of how often her heals get off and how her healing values are. Not to mention that she boosts attack and boosts energy regen by regenning your allies' energy. But she's just like an overall good unit. Mine's like actually has like amazing stats. Okay. Ruan Mei and Dr. Ratio. Good old Ruan Mei. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I have seen many things about Ruan Mei. I'll put her above Rania. But here's the thing about Ruan Mei. Ruan Mei is nothing but pure luxury. She is a great character, don't get me wrong. But her being a great character is what makes her a luxury, because Branya, Tingyun, those are things that you need. Weakness break is efficiency is just like not something that you need. If you have like high damaging ultimates and break effect on your characters to begin with and whatnot, then you really shouldn't need weakness effect. But like, honestly, go for it if you want to. I'm personally not rolling for it because we're seeing for good old Black Swan down here. Dr. Ratio is gonna go right above Topaz because his kit's pretty interesting. I used him in the story mode and I actually like absolutely love this kit. This hunt character has a % chance after attacking to do a follow-up attack, which does a little extra damage. And that percentage is increased based on how many debuffs there are on an enemy. So if you have like a team that I used, like you saw in that community post a while back that I made, it was Palo, Well, and Ho-Ho, I'm pretty sure that was with him. And he was doing some pretty frequent uptime on his follow-up attacks and whatnot. His ultimate has a very special thing where if you hit the certain enemy, after that he enters like a special buff state where any attack that an ally does has a % chance to hit the enemy that was previously attacked, or if you have like an AoE move probably, then it's probably just gonna hit like a random enemy. But anyways, the % goes up based on debuffs, and once you use the ultimate, the chances like get higher because allies attack the enemies and Ratio has a chance to attack when the allies attack. So in a nutshell, this is my tier list. It's kind of a rush tier list because I wanted to get this out, but this is pretty much a basic idea of like how like some of where. Jesus Christ, I fucking suck at speaking. This tier list is a great idea of where some of these characters stand. If you really want a absolute 100% amazing tier list, I would surely recommend going to third one. They have some pretty good takes there most of the time. But honestly, I think this tier list is alright, personally. I wouldn't really use this tier list as like a 100% like guarantee to like make your teams like good and whatnot, but I would just go to Prism because not only do they have a Memory Chaos tier list, which I honestly use for the main game as well, and it correlates pretty well with the main game, but they also have Pure Fiction tier list, which shows like where some of these characters stand in Pure Fiction as well. So if you really want a thorough tier list, I would go to Prism because not only that, they just explain like the characters as well if you